Jennifer. My name is Kiko. I have been on High Raw Vegan for the over 20 years now. I live in Kyoto, Japan, and I have a weekly cafe here in Kyoto downtown. So today I'm super excited. I have an amazing guest that I cannot have enough of her. She's an amazing being. She's got an awesome YouTube channel along with her fabulous husband, Todd. And I love their channel. If you are not subscribed to their channel, I highly, highly recommend because their their YouTube is so educational. They do so much research and preparation, and I really appreciate their work. And they're so much fun. It's not just educational. I always, laugh so much when I watch their YouTube channel. So yes, this is maybe third or fourth time we are doing YouTube live and video. And I always keep on asking her, when are you coming back? So she's super busy. Todd is super busy, but they were very generous and kind to come again on my channel. So welcome, Jennifer.
Oh, Kiko, thank you so much. What a wonderful, amazing introduction. I so appreciate it. And it's always a pleasure for me to be invited onto your platform. I appreciate your knowledge and your expertise in doing this raw vegan lifestyle for over 20 years. You have a cafe. You do so many wonderful things to help spread what you found to be really helpful for you. And I appreciate you sharing about my channel. If it's okay, I'll just mention that the channel is on YouTube at the Jennifer Diamond. So I would love to have anyone there. And yes, just helping people where they are is really important to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It's always fun.
Yeah, and I put her YouTube channel and detail in the description, so it's easy for you to just click. Yes. So today's topic is how to stay raw. I'm forgetting the name of the question. What was the? Let's see. Tips and tricks for staying raw, because I have been on a high raw vegan, but this year pretty much fully raw vegan. And I do notice that when I stay fully raw vegan and balanced raw vegan, maybe we can go into that during our live today, I feel so much better. And what I understood is that, well, Jennifer is high raw now. And what I understood is that she also feels great in fully raw. So that's why we wanted to cover. Each person is different. Some people are, I've met through my experience, most people feel fantastic staying fully raw. And the question that always comes up is that how do you stay raw, fully raw? So I'm really excited to cover some of the questions, the prepared question we had.
Yeah, Kiko, I want to say, so I'm not 100% raw. I have been learning and experimenting more, and through some conversations that you and I have had, about some things that were questions that are relevant to me to learn, also maybe are good for other people that are maybe new to this way, or maybe you've been doing it for a long time, or you go back and forth and, struggle with certain things. We're hoping to have a conversation, and between the two of us, just share some knowledge or questions or experiences. Mm-hmm. And, I gotta say, for me, it's not, I feel good, but I struggle too. And I think that that's part of something that we'll talk about later, because when you're eating high raw, or you're eating a lot of food that's mostly raw, I have learned you have to eat a lot of food. It's different than when you eat standard American diet or even vegan or whole food plant-based, because the calories are intake are different. And so that's something that was kind of interesting for me when I first started. Like, I'm chewing, and my jaw was hurting. And, you know, that's like, when you do it for a while, your jaw doesn't hurt anymore because those muscles are strengthening. But so that's something I just wanted to share, because, you know, in my opinion, no matter what platform, no matter which way you're eating, there are always challenges. There's no perfect, it's never always perfect for me. I can speak for myself, you know, but when you do find something that works, it is beautiful to share and discuss. So
Yes. Okay. So how about we have we have a list of questions. So maybe Jennifer, would you like to pick one question, and then after that I can bring one of the questions that I prepared, and we can answer to that question. How does that?
sure.
Yeah.
That sounds great. And you know what? Why don't we start with this one, since I kind of started it already, which is a general question for both of us, right? How do you get enough food in your body without eating all day? How, when you're raw or when you're high raw, you know, how do you do that? And especially with people that are working, or they have small children or families or other obligations, how does this work? Maybe you can share some tips and things.
Yeah, I think Jennifer has already a great answer, because I have seen your YouTube channel on this, that you have travel fully raw on your travel. But for me, Lisa's, you know, for me, right? Lisa's raw food ramen's Lisa's hand wrap has been a game changer, because that's usually what I do is bring a huge box of salad, and when I have to be all day out, right? And I might add more nuts and seeds when I'm out, so that I'm more satisfied and I don't have to be, you know, munching all day. But Lisa's wrap is really handy, and it's quite dense, and you can make it the ingredients you can change, so you can make it lighter or denser. But sometimes I work as a guide all day long. You know, I leave early and come back late, and my time for lunch is quite limited, so I usually bring a wrap. And then before knowing Lisa's hand wrap, I still had to work all day. So what I used to do was make a nori wrap with the seaweed, raw seaweed, and I add more nuts, so it's more calorie dense. And before leaving, I eat a lot. I make a huge, you know, big bowl of smoothie. I carry with me. I bring a lot of bananas just in case. I also make energy bowls. So it's just a mix of nuts and dates, and that keeps me quite satisfied. This might be a bit too much of information, but I always check in the beginning, especially. I always check with chronometer. I think nowadays you can even put what you eat in a day in ChatGPT, and it will tell you if you have eaten enough calorie or nutrition. But yeah, before ChatGPT time, I would always enter what I have eaten in a day and check on chronometer and make sure that I'm covered well with nutrition wise.
So that's a lot. Yeah, that's great information. I have a few questions from what you shared. So what if somebody is concerned or dealing with heart disease? You know, nuts and seeds, they are higher in calorie, they keep you satiated, but for some people, that might not be an option. if they have heart disease. And so do you know of any other higher calorie foods that, I mean, I can think of avocado, but something that would really, really satiate someone. Maybe, you know, I want to ask you that, but at the same time, I'm wondering, like, maybe, you know, banana or things that are more dense. What do you think? What do you think if somebody couldn't really do a lot of nuts and seeds?
So yeah, I think the most important thing is where they want to go, because not everyone wants to be fully raw vegan, right? And for me, I decided to be fully raw for now because over 20 years of trial and errors, I know that fully raw works for me. And again, it's not everyone's the same. So because of my experience, I've learned that just staying raw is good. And there are certain nuts and seeds that I don't take. Actually, I'm pretty limited. Like cashew nuts, I haven't taken for a long time. Even sesame seeds, almonds, like most of the nuts, I would have a like allergic reaction. So I just take walnuts and chia seeds. Those are the two things that I probably, chia seeds I would never skip. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Chia seeds, flaxseed, hemp seed, you do those, all those seeds. So that's something that when people think of nuts and seeds, including myself, sometimes I go, oh yeah, I forget that's in the same category, right? We have to remember, because those are so great with the omega balance.
Right. But, so flax seeds, like I go, my body handles really well with chia seeds, but flax seeds, I have been using the brown chia seeds and I have been reacting. So it depends on how I mix. Like sometimes if I mix flax seeds with different kind of nuts, I might have a reaction to it. So like I have to pay I have to pay close attention to how my body is reacting is what I eat. But again, what's your goal? Because staying fully raw, what does that mean to everyone? Because if someone has a heart disease, right, heart issues, and it might be better to include some steamed food or some other food. So right. Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be all or nothing. And it shouldn't. But sometimes people think, I have to master this. If I want to do this, I have to do this. And then if they struggle with things like they're not sure how to balance the nuts and seeds, or they're not sure how to get enough with the, other obligations, work and family, it's okay. We have to, I think, when I say we, I'm talking to myself, give ourselves grace, give ourselves time and experiment with what works, because like you just said, you got to figure out why you're doing it. You have to understand how your body reacts, because somebody might say, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever and I can eat it every day. And then somebody else, after a couple of months, they were fine, and then maybe all of a sudden they have a craving or a problem with it, and then they realize, I can't eat that same thing, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a great question, Jennifer. I really like that. You go deep in this question, and when I discovered cashew nuts is not raw, it's never raw, right? Because it's dangerous when it's raw, and that was like a eye-opening moment for me, because most raw fooders include cashew nuts, and nowadays everyone knows that cashew is not raw, but they would claim themselves fully raw. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, even me, even though I don't eat cashew nuts, I would include soy sauce, which is not most of them are raw, but sometimes I would include what's not completely raw or fermented. So like some of the condiments might not be fully raw, but I make it okay. But for me, if I were to include steamed food, I just go down on the slippery rows, and it's very. I have a history of this eating disorder, so so often when I eat a steamed broccoli or steamed sweet potato, which is supposed to be really good for you, right? I cannot count how many nights I had, like you know, I wanted to vomit because I was, I just couldn't control eating. But with raw food, for me, even if I overeat, it just passing within 15 minutes or so.
That's really interesting. That is really interesting. I want to take a second just to say hello. I see a couple people in the chat. Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Oh, yeah, the
First
homestead.
Century Homestead. Hello, and Todd is in. Hi, honey. I want to go back and then come forward again. You mentioned Alyssa's wraps. So that Raw Food Romance is who you're talking about, and she has some cookbooks and has shared in some of the bundles how to make taking the raw food and sweet potatoes and onions and different things like that, dates, and blending it up, and in the dehydrator, dehydrating it, and it makes like a bread, like a lavash, like some kind of a wrap, but it's all raw. And so I've traveled with those. I've made those before, and like you said before, then you would use nori sheets. Another idea, if somebody didn't have the ability to do that, maybe they didn't have a dehydrator or the time, is I like to take collard greens, because they're a very large leaf, and I cut the stem down so that it's not so tough and fibrous. And then you could gently steam it if you wanted to soften it. But if you didn't, that's fine. It just won't roll as well. And then lining that with the raw nori and then filling it. And I think the idea behind having this type of wrap is because it's easy to transport, right? You know that you're getting this. These wraps can be like gigantic. And so I think for me, it helps to make sure that I eat enough, because I get interrupted or something happens or the time runs out and I don't finish. This way, it's like, okay, finish this or half or whatever. So I wanted to bring that up in case people were not familiar with that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Sometime, actually, during summertime, so the reset hand wrap is excellent, especially when it's like a colder month because it's heavier. But nowadays, I will just wrap my veggies in the cabbage. And you can also freeze the cabbage leaves in the deep freezer. And when you thaw, it becomes soft and easy to wrap. Yeah. But the reason why I like Lisa's hand wrap, I know it's it's you have to prepare for it, and it's an investment to prepare. You need a dehydrator as well. But when I dine with my client, I don't eat. They might ask me to stay with them in a restaurant, and I bring my own food. So if I eat the whole big salad bowl, or even with the cabbage roll, it brings too much attention to me, right? And then the hand wrap, right? You could do it with a coconut wrap that you can buy online. I think if you're in the States, it's very easy to find a raw wrap. So it's just it just looks normal. It looks like a normal wrap. And every time I eat in front of my clients, like everyone, they all ask me, like, where did you get that? That looks so good. It looks better than our food. So.
Wow. Yeah. Gosh, so many things are coming to my mind. But I do want to say that 21st Century Homestead said, yes, mine right now is citrus fruit. It's been breaking me out in eczema. So you have a lot of experience with that. Maybe you want to say anything about citrus fruit and eczema?
Yeah, so everyone's body is different. I actually had some flare-ups, and I had some flare-up. It's getting better and better, but I don't seem to have a reaction to citrus fruits. And sometimes it's a combination. So like citrus fruit doesn't do well when you eat a lot of fatty food. And I'm not implying that to 21st century's homestead. And this is something I learned. So if when I was on high raw vegan, and I would eat out sometime in a restaurant, like vegan restaurant, and it could be like, usually in a restaurant they serve something very heavy, and when I eat fruit, like citrus fruits, especially the next day, I tend to react. Like I get, inflammation, and so I learned that, fat and citrus doesn't go really well, and also like sweet fruit doesn't go well. So if you are on a high fruit diet, you need to be mindful of not including too much fat into your diet.
That's very good. And another thing that you said that I find interesting, and when you say it, I'm thinking about it. Like you said, when you go with your clients, if they want you to stay, you don't really want to bring something that's so much because you don't want to draw attention to yourself. And, I never thought about it that way, but I travel with my own food. Sometimes it's cooked. Most of the time it's big salads and fruits and things like that. Even some of these guys right here, which are beans or lentils that are sprouted. And, I never finish. And so I wait until the people at my table are served. Then I put my food out, and I don't put it all out at once. I tend to bring it in a special bag, and I pour some of it. I ask for extra plate, right? So we're eating off the same plates. And then I put it away. I just put so it looks proportionate to what everyone else does, because then I'm thinking I can do a second or a third or whatever. But the truth is, as you said, and I'm thinking back, there's a lot of interaction. People are talking, and I cannot chew or relax in the same way as when I'm home or in an environment that makes me feel relaxed. And so I don't finish. And then here it is, the end of the day, and I have under-eaten. And you do that day in and day out, and then you get into trouble, which I've gotten into trouble. And so I love what you said about, you try to do it before you leave, right? But yeah, I never thought about it that way. So different, but the same sort of, right?
Also, another thing is like when I'm with client and I always have a second person here, and we tend to put ourselves last, right? Like we want to serve others, and we tend to forget to take care of ourselves, and but it doesn't serve us if we are not well nourished. I don't have a good energy. I don't have a good mood. So I say, Kiko, no, you have to take care of yourself. So let's say I'm with client and I'm feeling hungry. So banana is great. When I feel hungry, I will just eat. Even during the conversation with my client, banana is so easy. I don't have to chew so much. And then I just ask my clients, I'm sorry, I'm feeling hungry. Is it okay? I eat while we discuss. And they will say, oh, of course, eat, and
I love that.
yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
Here's something else about raw. You don't normally eat one banana. Sometimes I hear people eat 12 bananas, and maybe not all at one time, but throughout the day, large portions of something that when I was growing up, when, one banana was it. I didn't think about having 12 bananas, right? And so that's something that's interesting to me is like, is the nutrients coming from the bananas enough, right? Because all the variety of food, which is why I like the big rainbow salad, gives you different nutrients. And sometimes the combination, like I've had to do, I know 21st Century Homestead said they can't do citrus right now, but for me, I need the citrus in order to help absorption with iron and things that I have trouble with. Like, we're all different. But how do you do that? How do you make sure that you get enough nutrients? How?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, that's another great question. Thank you. And hi, Apple. I just want to say
Hi, Apple a day.
so
Wonderful
nice.
to have everybody here.
Yeah. What was the question? I lost.
How do you get, like, so we were talking about, because you mentioned if you have a banana, if you ask your client, you know, I'm getting hungry, can I have a banana? And it just made me think, like, a lot of people, when they do 100% raw, I've heard them say, I eat 12 bananas, I eat 15 bananas, right? And so then it's like the diversified nutrients versus mono, what do they call it? Mono foods, where you eat like one kind of.
I don't, I get bored with mono fruits. Like, I do like starting with, like, it's a peach season now, and we have the most beautiful peach.
It's beautiful.
Peach in Japan is truly the best, and it smells heavenly. So I started my my day with this gorgeous peach, and it was dripping juicy. It was so good.
Oh my gosh, Kiko, did you grow that?
Oh, I wish. Oh my God, I wish. I am growing kiwi, green kiwi. This is from New Zealand, but I have like countless kiwis now, so maybe I get to eat it this year, around November. But yes, you know, bananas are great, like emergency fruits, because if I'm at home, I don't eat banana alone. I usually just add maybe 2-3 in a smoothies, or I might eat it with the chia berry parfait that was in my book, right? And sometimes I do that, instead of eating just banana, I might just, keep on eating while I speak with my clients. Like, I don't care. Like, I need my energy, right? So
yes,
it might look odd, but they don't care. Like, my clients never seem to care. So
yeah. Well, that's important. And just to say, Plant Powered Peddler Janet's here. Hi, Janet. She says, hello, my smoothie has 4 bananas and a number of blueberries. What is that? A pound, maybe a pound of blueberries and half a head of romaine. So that's a great, nice mixture of a smoothie, which is another great way to get in a lot of calories. But yeah, so why wouldn't you eat banana at home? I'm curious. Did you just answer that?
No, I don't find it interesting to eat just banana. Maybe if I'm in like a tropical place, like when I used to live in Costa Rica, there are some interesting bananas, variations of bananas. But I mean, we get pretty good bananas here from Philippines in Japan. But I like to mix in the smoothies, and honestly, like, bananas alone are too sweet for me to eat alone. So I like to mix it with some greens.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, and then I know that some people get concerned with the blood sugar spikes. I recently did my own experiment where I wore that monitor you put that regulates your glucose. I don't have a problem with glucose. I was just curious to see, because I've never measured it, and I noticed that when I ate just fruit, and we're supposed to have spikes, that's normal. But I would have my spikes then, and they would come down in a very reasonable amount of time. But when I mixed it with the greens, it stayed more in the normal range. And I thought that was really fascinating. And so here you are saying that you mix your bananas with greens because you get bored of bananas. But isn't that interesting? Maybe your internal self knows. You must be so in tune with yourself that maybe it's not boring. Maybe it's just that, I don't know, the combination is really good for you. I'm not, just guessing, right?
Yeah, maybe like over 20 years, like I have done trials and errors. And yeah, if I just stay on, like, let's say like watermelon fasting is so popular. Oh my God, that would, my body would cry for help if I do that. Like, my my teeth would start hurting.
Really? If you eat
Yeah.
too much watermelon?
Yeah, I don't. I don't do well. No, I'm talking about like watermelon fasting. Like there are people who does just eating watermelon for one month to do
Oh,
detox, right? The detox. I think I know that's a lot of people talk great thing about this kind of diet, but I think it's so dangerous. Yeah,
yeah,
this is like a whole different topic, but.
yeah, and Apple a Day says regarding nutrients and macros, every once in a while I track a few days of eating in Chronometer to give me a clear picture, which is what you had mentioned earlier. Kiko also said that I guess you can also ask AI and they'll tell you if you've had enough calories. But I think it is really important to somehow track your food when you're doing something new or different to make sure that you understand what the food is providing you and that it's enough for what you need, or maybe this is too much and you're lacking over here, and kind of learn. But I wouldn't say do that for long term. It's tedious, but for a learning short period of time, I find it to be really, really good. But I also find it to be still hard to track. And the reason why I say that is because I'm not just eating one food. If I have a salad and it's got 15 things in it, do I have to measure each thing and write it? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah,
How?
yeah, I don't do that. That's why I only did it in the beginning, and also time to time I would track. So like I have an idea, like especially in the beginning, right? Like you realize you need to eat a lot in the quantity wise, because you need depending on the how active you are. Like I would make sure that I have 2,000 calories minimum. And in the beginning, I was quite surprised that I was only getting like 15 or 1,200 calories. That's not enough at all. And I might feel great for a certain period of time, but I wanted to stay on this lifestyle. I wanted to feel great all the time. So it was important to understand. So like adding dates. So for me, it's like to go meal is Lisa's hand wrap, because I can add a lot of veggies. And just like you, if I bring a big salad to go, I cannot finish in 1 hour. But if I bring Lisa's hand wrap, which I just made it into my own recipe, I don't follow her recipe anymore, but she's got a great tips and tricks on wraps, so I can make sure that every time I make it, it's a success. So yeah, that hand wrap is the magic for me, because I can finish it with the same time. When I eat out with clients, like I would finish around the same time as my client's meal. So
Kiko, do you think that's because you're taking bigger bites versus using a fork or a chopstick or something? Because how can you get more in if you're chewing the same?
Right. Well, to begin with, the wrap itself it has a lot of veggies, right? Like I love caramelized onion. That has so much onion in it. Like if I were to chew and finish myself like that quantity of onion, like I don't know how many days it would take. So they're like calorie dense, like dates in the wrap, so that makes it easier. Well, it's more nutrient dense. Maybe I should be chewing a little more, but somehow it's a magic. I can finish much faster than eating just salad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll if I can, I'll ask you a question that we talked about, because I find that even if sometimes it's still hard. And that is, how do you handle emotional cravings? But most importantly, stress eating. And I know some people, they can handle it, and I used to be able to handle it. But when something big stresses you out, for me, a death in the family, or an illness in a family, things are out of my control. I know better. I can't help it to go back to that old way of thinking and be like self-soothing through certain foods. So do you have anything that you've learned or done over these past 20 years that helps you with that kind of issue?
I have done so many errors, and I think with experience, I've learned that it's just does nothing but harm for myself. And in my reaction, like I get, yeah, I mean, I eat so much that I cannot stop once I eat. Like I mentioned that because of my eating disorder, I just cannot stop. And I don't know, like I don't feel full until it hurts. Like, my husband always tell me, like, Kiko, you need to stop. And yeah, I just don't feel it. So like I have a acute pain like 1 hour after eating. So once it's done, the damage is done. So I have to suffer for, I don't know, a few days after. So repeating that so many times, I had to learn that it's just not serving me. So I have the second Kiko always kind of detached from me and say, loving Kiko, telling me that Kiko, maybe start with juicy fruits. You can eat, I don't know, nuts were something that I used to binge eat. So because I wanted to stay fully raw, and I used to eat potato chips, like a whole bag of like a huge pack of potato chips all by myself, and I used to feel so sick out of it. And so when I feel down or when I have that emotional cravings, I just want to eat something crunchy. So I replaced it with almonds. So I would add some like salt and pepper. And yeah, I just keep on eating. And it does sound healthy, but it's so difficult. Like nuts are so difficult to digest. So I suffer again. So when that happens, I mean, because I've done it so many times, and okay, Kiko, eat as many fruits, like juicy fruits as possible. And tomorrow you can eat that, crunchy almond with salt and pepper, all you want. And I just keep postponing. And it just, that kind of just goes away. Yeah. And
I go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry. So I had my father passed away this year, which I haven't shared yet. And
so
now
sorry.
I'm coming out. Yes. Thank you. And then, yeah, I really appreciate Jennifer's, emotional support. Yeah, so I'm really thankful for our friendship. And we had some family trauma. I have gone through a lot this year. It was very intense. And those were the reason for me to stay fully raw and stay with juicy fruits, because I know I've already gone through so many eating disorders, like hurting myself, and I just remember how much I had to go through. And once I go through this, eating disorder, it doesn't. Sometimes I would have to deal with it for whole entire month. So I just keep on reminding myself, do you want to go through that? Let's just postpone until tomorrow. And that worked for me.
Wow. Yeah. Again, I'm very sorry for your loss. I understand what that's like, because I had my father pass this year too, which and it's never easy. And a couple of things. So sometimes people have trouble with controlling their eating because of how they eat it, right? So if you have, they say hand to mouth, hand to mouth. I could eat a lot of this without even thinking, mindfully eating the nuts, the seeds, the popcorn, whatever. Whereas I've been to, places where conferences and they've shared, use a chopstick. Well, you already are in the place of chopsticks, but it gets you to slow things down. It allows you to know when you're full, things like that. But remembering your experience is interesting because a lot of times for myself, we've all had, I believe, some kind of trauma growing up, some worse than others. That's part of life, I believe, but we handle it differently. So for me, I tend to block it, so I don't even remember. So if someone says, well, I'm making this up, why were you upset with me 3 weeks ago? If it was very traumatic for me, and I'm just making this up for an example, this didn't really happen, then I might be like, I don't know. I can't remember, because that's how I deal with it. So for me, it's hard to remember those bad times. So in the moment, when I'm living with a family that's not doing the same eating style as I am, for example, and, this is my father I'm going to use as the example, not to say anybody else in the house doesn't care, but it's almost like, not I deserve this, but don't tell me, I don't say this, but it's like I feel like, why is it okay for you to have the convenience of eating this cooked food, eating this fast food, this convenient, it's almost like somebody's there to hug you, to make it simple. When here I am, I'm dealing with all of this, and now I have to prepare it. I'm tired, I'm emotional, I'm this, I'm sad. So to hell with it, right? I'm just gonna have this bag of whatever, and don't look at me, don't judge me, don't this, don't that. Yes, later you pay the price, I pay the price. I know better, but it's super hard sometimes when you're dealing with stuff like that, how to give yourself that love and hug when my small little Jennifer is saying, different things. It's saying, it's okay, you deserve it, or I don't know what it's saying, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do we deal with that? You're such an inspiration. You do this so beautifully and gracefully and share. And, I wonder for some of these things that we struggle with, like, share your secrets.
Oh my God, you have no idea how many fights I had, or not fights, with my husband, because he's vegan, but he loves junk food, and he has a completely different personality than me. Like, I'm a kind of person who has dealt with this eating disorder since the birth, right? And I had a digestion problem. My husband, he's a very reasonable person. Even the most delicious food he's offered, when he's done, he's done. He's a very clean eater. So I have learned so much from him. But, he can eat whatever he wants. Like, he loves baguette. I used to love baguette. And I overdid it when I was living in Paris. And that's when I became severely, like, gluten, allergic to gluten. And I used to get so upset like, why can you eat all that? Like, I cannot eat. Like, you should not be eating in front of me. He's such a kind person. So, like, maybe I should not call it as a fight, because I'm just the one. It's like, no, like, don't eat in front of me. Like, you're forbidden to eat pasta and bread in front of me. And I'm the one who's preparing everything. So I have gone through that, like a crazy moment. But now I know, like, over 20 years I've gone through this, and even before 20 years, like, I've gone through so much allergy and like heaviness and like huge mood swing. So I am just so grateful where I am now. that like my husband, like I cook pasta for him time to time. I prepare, like baguette sandwich for him. It does. I don't even see it as a food anymore. Like rice, sometimes he likes to eat rice. I don't, I love rice, but my body doesn't love it. So it doesn't bother me anymore. It's because I have gone through so many, hell eating all those food.
So
And
do
I,
you ever find in the past, do you ever find that you're, if you're like, I don't know, if you haven't eaten yet and you're preparing for your husband, well, that's another question. Do you eat first so that you're full? But if not, like, do you just want to taste just that one little noodle? You know?
yeah, no, again, I don't see them as food anymore. For
Oh,
me,
you don't see
yeah,
them.
I don't see. But now I've learned my lesson. Before, because I love my husband so much, and he's like my baby. He's like, I adore him. So I always used to prepare his meal first, and then I've learned my lesson that I had to, nourish myself first. So often he would come and say, "Where's my food?" You know? And he's okay with it. Like he's very easygoing. He doesn't ask much. So I have my own routine, and he doesn't eat that much. Like what takes the most is my salad preparation. And yeah, so now I prepare my food first.
It's
Uh,
interesting that you were able to not see it as food that once upon a time you were eating, and now you can prepare it, but you put yourself first as a priority, and then you make it instead of and I think, and I'm going to say women because I'm a woman. That's my personal experience as a mother and a caretaker and a wife and all of these things, playing that role for me. I, even with our dog, I love Remy. I always have do everybody's first, and then I can do my own. And there's something to be said about it. It's there is something. Try to reverse it and do yourself first. Nobody's going to melt, right? And then help or do for them. You might do a better job. And when I say this, when I say you might, I'm talking to myself. I
how
might
about
do a better job if I reverse it.
yeah, Jennifer? One of my close friends told me that one day she sent me a Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell, and she said, "Kiko, you're my Tinkerbell," and she has to reverse some severe health issues, and she was about to go to surgery. A few doctors told her to go through a surgery, and I just recommended, certain foods, and I have prepared some smoothies for her because she lived close to me, and she has healed with that food, and she didn't have to go to surgery. And she said, "Kiko, you might Tinkerbell. So how about you see me, like when you feel when you're going through this hard time, Kiko's Tinkerbell is right behind you here."
Oh my
and
gosh.
she's telling you, "Jennifer, you deserve that juicy peaches."
Okay, I love that. You're going to make me cry. I appreciate that. Yes, knowing that we have each other's support, even in a Tinkerbell form, it's wonderful to know. That's why I like to do these things to share with others, to know we're all human and we might have different journeys, but in the end, we still need to get the support and handle the emotions. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to do that
Yeah,
Tinkerbell.
I would say you deserve eating healthy, beautiful, healthy food that's right in front of you.
I love that. I love that. Apple a Day says going raw 4 years ago. Wow, that's a long time too. Definitely stirred up my emotions and unresolved stories. I had a lot of unpacking to do. So I mean, I hear it again. I dealing with it this year myself, and like you said, you've shared some of your story. It's interesting how emotions, experiences, and food kind of find their way, intertwine with each other. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I had to go through like going raw in the beginning. I had to face my emotions in a raw form. Like I couldn't cover, but I always think that dealing with it right away, face to face, is a much shorter journey than just dealing little by little in the whole run, because it's always in the back of my head that's it's there. Even though you might not be aware, subconsciously it's always there. So I like to be confronting with my biggest issues right away, so I can deal with it, and then it just can empty my mind.
So is that being confronted something that you do on your own, or your husband or somebody close to you says, I see this going on? Like what, how, or both ways? How do you?
Both ways.
Both ways.
It's interesting interaction with my husband. Like I said, we have two different, completely different personality, and but even with my husband, it looks like it's helping him a lot, because he's a kind of person who doesn't like to deal with the issue. Like he prefers to kind of put that, if he doesn't have to deal with it, he will just wait and wait and wait. But it's always in back of his head. So he said that it helped, like I helped him realize the issue and deal with it and just get over with it.
Interesting.
But
wow.
I'm not suggesting that for everyone. I think everyone has their own journey, and it just works for me. For me, that's the only way that works. And my husband, it's helping him.
That's great. That's great. And in our household, very different eating styles, very different journeys, very different personalities. But, we try to support each other the best way that we can. And if my husband, I'll share, if he's going to eat something and it's something that he thinks might trigger me, or, isn't something that I'm eating, and this was a long time ago that we had a discussion about it, but he'll either make sure to eat it when I'm not in the room, or he's even at times stayed, like if he goes to buy something outside, he'll eat it before he comes home, or even in the garage, like just to show support, just to try to help me, because maybe I'm struggling in that moment. But
sweet of Tom.
I have to make sure that I'm like, oh my gosh, then I think that's not fair for you. Why would you want to eat alone in the car and the this or that, But then I think, okay, I can't fix it all. We can sit together afterwards, or we can talk or whatever. But, you got to figure out what I had to figure out. What are my needs? What is not helping me be successful in my health journey? And there was a time when it was him bringing in food, or, because he had transitioned from the standard American diet into vegan or whole food plant-based. He loves the raw food, the raw wraps and stuff. And sometimes it was some of the stuff that is that kind of food, but it was high calorie density, and it was something that I didn't want to eat that late in the day or whatever. He would be respectful, and we just have to realize he needed more calories. I didn't. I wanted to stop eating at this time, and find the balance within the house, whatever the situation is. But being supportive reminds me of what you were sharing about you and your husband.
Yeah, I think over time, like my husband used to crave for junk food a lot more before. And now being, he's by default high raw vegan because he's with me. And he's
lucky guy.
And he's craving a lot less. Like I asked him, do you want to stop by at this restaurant and pick up something? Like we were on the way to Costco. We could have picked some burgers, like vegan burgers for him. But he's like, he's not craving. Like his body is just kind of becoming more and more, craving for something more whole food form. But and also another thing is, again, like I'm bringing up my eating disorder so often today, that I have no. This is just for me. I'm speaking about to myself, that I have no rights to judge anyone, because I have eaten so much meat, so much junk food. I mean, the alcohol. I have drunk so much in my life that I have no right to judge. Like my husband, I could never judge him. Like he has eaten so little that if he wants to eat, like, junk vegan food, he has all rights, because I have already eaten so much of that, and that brought me into this, body which became so sensitive. So again, like everyone's
Yeah,
journey is so different.
that's really I mean, that's very commendable of you. I got to be honest, there are times when I've been resentful and not supportive of that. Like, I want to engage in that bag of vegan whatever, chip or whatever. And, so even if I'm not doing that, the fact that it's like in the house or it's under my nose, or, I mean, there have been times a long time ago, but, where like I would try to figure out, okay, when is that bag going to be left alone? So, if it doesn't get finished, where is it? Where is it? And then I think about it, and then is there an opportunity for me to just have a little, and it's not about I missing it or I want it. It's more of like I was feeling resentful instead of grateful. And I'm bringing this up because I want to share with people that no matter where you are, like, this is real, and it's not always perfect, and it's okay.
Yeah. It's so powerful what you are sharing, and I really appreciate Jennifer for being so all open, and sharing your journey. And again, my journey is definitely, it was not pretty at all, and it's only recently that I just don't see what I used to crave as a food, because I've already gone through, and now I have my Kiko's version of Tinkerbell, saying that you know, let them eat what they want, and you deserve juicy fruits. Oh my God, mangosteen from Thailand, and
Wow.
passion fruits. I like all the great. I just went for, yeah, Costco, and this apple mango, Pakistani mangoes, and
Oh my gosh, that looks so good.
I just wake up. When I come to my kitchen, it smells so good. It's like it's a paradise. Like I live in a paradise now, and I truly believe that paradise and
Yeah.
heaven is here on earth. And I make it that way, just like Jennifer. You're presenting this beautiful fruits and vegetable in front of you, and it's just easier to eat those food when you see it.
Yeah, and they really do make you feel better than anything else. It's just that I like to share that, sometimes the emotion, especially the stress on certain things, can, for me, serve to be overpowering, overtook what I could handle. Even if I handled it or saw it the way you are explaining prior to that, before this happened, it doesn't make me bad or a failure. It just means that maybe I need a little more support. Maybe somebody watching is in the same spot, or, I'm not saying I'm there right now, but I have experienced that for sure. And, and it's part of the journey. We're evolving. We are energy in motion, right? And so, we're not supposed to, I believe I'm not supposed to get to a finish line. I'm supposed to be on a journey for the remainder of my days here. And so what does that journey look like? It can ebb and sway, and it can fluctuate, but it can still be in a positive way if I allow it, right?
Yeah. And 21st Century Home said I buy. She only buys nuts in the shell, and cracking. So she gets tired cracking after like 4. So that's a great way. Like if you're limiting nuts and seeds, that's a great way. But I used to do that when I was in France, and when you buy the nuts in the shell, you have to soak it, right? You have to
Yes.
soak it overnight. So like, yeah, I would not be able to get enough calories if I do that. But
So
that's
let
a
me
great.
ask you, when you have it in the shell and you have to crack it, do you crack it and then take it out and then soak it, or can you crack it in a whole form? I mean, can you soak it in the whole form and
You have
then
to,
crack it later?
yeah, you have to crack it and then
You have to
soak
crack
it. Yeah, so that's a long, and maybe we are meant to eat that way, but for me, like I need walnuts handy, so I soak them, dehydrate them, and put it in the fridge so like it's easy for me to eat. But yeah, it's interesting when you say, oh, Jennifer, you deserve it when you're feeling so sad, like you need that, comfort food. But if you had Kiko's Tinkerbell next to you, she would say, no, no, you deserve that celery. Eat that celery with, maybe salt and pepper.
I
I mean,
love it. I love it. I love it. I'm definitely going to try that next time I need a boost. And I don't know, do we have time for one more question to go over? What do you think, or should we call it?
yeah, let's go one more. I mean, if you're
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I am. I am. So, we had talked about what is your favorite sauce or dressing, and how do you keep them exciting? Because that's something that I struggle with is um, new sauces or dressings, and how.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
let's talk about that.
Oh my God, you are so well organized, and I'm so grateful that you're there.
No, we're,
I
we're in
I
this
have
together. Remember, I got Kiko Tinkerbell right here helping me.
yeah, I don't know how Jennifer does everything. She, like I have such a respect for Jennifer. So yeah, the dressings are so important, right? And what I've learned is that I have made so many different kind of dressings in my life. Being on this high raw vegan diet for over 20 years. But what I've learned that the dressing, when you mix it in the blender, it doesn't last well. Even if you put it in the fridge, it lasts for 2-3 days. um, so I stopped making salad dressing. Time to time, I do make, but what I like doing now is that, well, like for example, you guys know sea asparagus.
Oh, asparagus. Oh, that looks so very dainty, and it's called sea asparagus.
Yeah, so it's from Israel. So it's seafood.
That's
It,
seafood. I've never seen asparagus seafood.
I got it in Costco, so you might be able to get it in. And it's from Israel, so you might be able to get that. It's very salty on its own. So what I do is I add it in my salad, and make use it as a substitute of salt and something. Yeah, something. So I always add tomatoes in my salad. I chop them, and instead of blending it, because using the blender it makes it it's yeah. Oh, that's gorgeous tomato. Yeah, that's ripe and beautiful. uh, so yeah, with tomatoes, and this is mushroom, marinated mushrooms
Ooh.
with soy sauce and vinegar, or balsamic vinegar. I do different version, and I always have this, different kind of marination of mushroom in my fridge. And then another thing.
You make the marinated different marinated mushrooms, or you purchase it that way.
Oh, I buy fresh mushrooms. And
Okay,
I make my own. Yeah,
interesting.
I don't. It's very rare for me to eat something in a container. Yeah,
From the
and
store, yeah.
this is this is onion. I usually make purple onion, also marinated in balsamic vinegar or soy sauce, or apple cider vinegar. So I always have these in the fridge, mixed with different kind of nuts. This is, there's walnuts inside.
Oh, yes.
And with this hand chopper,
I have one like that. They're fantastic.
I saw that in your YouTube. Yeah, so I make it into crumbs. And when I mix those things, it's so delicious, with the help of tomato, like juicy fruits like tomatoes in the salad. It works just like salad dressing to me.
Yeah. So you have different components, right? So you said the asparagus, the seafood asparagus is the salty.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the walnuts, which offer kind of that crunchy.
Right.
Then and then some of the marinades, depending on what you're marinating with. Is there any sweet component? Because I heard you say soy sauce, but I'm wondering, like, if somebody was trying to put something together, do you want a component from each area of that? So salty, sweet, crunchy, that kind of thing, or fatty, or whatever?
Sometimes I add raisins in my salad, so that gives more sweetness and also more calorie density. It gives more calorie. But tomatoes could be very sweet components as well. If you have abundance of nectarine, you could add nectarine, or some people add even like kiwis in their salad, or mango even, right? Like sometimes I would add like a frozen mango in my salad. But no, for me, I don't feel like I need more sweetness in my salad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And so those marinades that you do, how long do they last in the refrigerator? And also, how long does it take for it to get marinated where you want? Like, how long do you have to soak it?
Usually I like to do it overnight to marinate, but my husband ate it right away yesterday because I just made it, and he seems to be happy. And this lasts for a long time. It doesn't last because it's so good that within a few days it will just go. It will just go. But yesterday I made a huge batch. This would probably last for 2 weeks minimum in the fridge because it's salty and vinegar. So that's when I have to make salad dressing, it's like I have so much going on, and salad dressing itself is just what do I make, and I don't have to go through. I don't want to have to go through it. If I have enough space in my brain, then I can make extra, salad dressing. But this is so easy. Like it's hot here, and I want something very simple and easy. And now to make a salad, it's very fast for me, like 15, 20 minutes. I just chop it up and add those ingredients. And
there you have it. Do you use those in your cafe, or is that just for home? Oh, you do?
No. What I prepare for my cafe is what I eat every day. I don't make it, different because, again, most people come to my cafe unnoticed, right? I recommend them to make a reservation, but they just pop up. So if they don't pop up, it's it will be all for me. So it's what I prepare is what I can eat because there's no waste in my kitchen.
I love that. I love that. So I do some dressings and sauces that I make ahead of time. Like, I have this kind of a creamy one. But this has dill and some other things in it. There are nuts in this. And
what kind of nuts did you use?
I did use cashew nuts in this. I do use cashew nuts, but the nuts you see here, walnuts and almonds, these have been soaked and dehydrated. So this is like, a new thing for me. And I really appreciate learning that. And also sometimes I will use pumpkin seed in a dressing. And that's really nice too with lemon.
How long does that last in the fridge?
This one, I'll go like, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks, if it lasts.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I push stuff a little bit, but
That's
You know,
funny
as
'cause-
long as it's still good. I mean, because this is the second jar. It made 2 jars. So I finished the first jar, and this one is already down to here. It's almost gone. But this was about a week ago, and it's fine. I mean, I like it. But I would add this with something else, some kind of lemon or something, apple cider vinegar, because, and I like to mix the two together, and not necessarily mix it in here, because I like the different flavors of the creamy with the, you know, the flavor of a vinegar and so forth. But a lot of times I don't do this. I just take the salad and I just take stuff and plop it on top. So like if I have a raw, and which I do right now, I have a raw sauerkraut, right? I'll put a little of that. I'll squeeze lemon. I'll put a little bit of coconut amino or something. I'll add a little bit of, you know, date syrup, or cut up dried fruit or fresh fruit. I love the fresh fruit. And that, and maybe apple cider vinegar, and just even spices. I'll throw in some, you know, mixed no salt seasoning in there. Or if I want a little spicy, maybe I'll put some, you know, chili flakes or whatever on the salad. Just pour it on, mix it, eat it. So it's just, I never know how it's going to come out, but that to me is a nice, simple way to do it also.
And Apple, they say she used sauerkraut juice as a dressing, and I do exactly the same. You know, I like wet salad, so these marinated stuff, I use it as, you know, kind of like a dressing. You know, and with walnuts, I would need a bit of like liquid. So yeah, I do the same.
Yeah. And you know, sometimes I love that idea of the sauerkraut juice as a dressing, but sometimes I even find that it seems dry. But if I keep a couple bites, mix, a couple bites, mix, by the time I get halfway through, it's like, wow, it's really marinated or really mixed. And then I'm like, this is so good.
Yes. And it's interesting that you know, the cashew dressing, if I were to make it here, it would not last. Like I think with the humidity, it would go bad within a few days for sure. So that's interesting, because you are living in a very dry place.
Yes. And if I know that I'm not going to finish it, let's say we're going to travel or whatever, I will try and freeze it and see what happens when I thaw it. And sometimes the texture changes. Sometimes it's perfectly fine. I love to freeze things because I don't like to waste.
Yeah, that must come out really nice. Apple, they say, see, asparagus will be Jennifer's next episode.
I got to find it out here to be able to do that, but I love that idea. Isn't that cool? Yeah.
But this is something like I added recently. I don't know if I would, you know, I just got the huge package, so I like adding it as a, you know, part of a seafood in my salad. But it's again, mushroom, walnut, or it could be like a sunflower or pumpkin seeds, and then onion marinade. Those are the things that I always have.
Okay, that's really good. I mean, and even I'm thinking, like, what else would I add to that? Sometimes I might want something else. So I might add either the juice of an orange or the whole orange cut up into pieces, because that flavor, but even still, pineapple or pineapple juice, you know, and it's, you know, sometimes I have pineapple and I, you know, don't finish it. So I'll put it in the freezer and then I can blend it up and have it as a juice, or juice it, or sometimes I buy store-bought pineapple juice that's only pineapple. There's nothing else in it. And I like those kind of flavors too. Apple a Day says a small apple, some shallot, and white wine vinegar is another favorite. Yes. So, okay, everybody's getting ready to have their sauces and dressings on their next salads. I know I am.
Yeah, that's what I do recently, but you know, it changes. Well, during the winter time, it might change, but I'm very happy with where I am now. That it doesn't take much time to prep. And again, I quite often I don't prepare anything for my husband until I'm fully satisfied.
I think that's a really great tip because you're not as tempted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if somebody might be tempted because they're so hungry, but that's great. So you take care of yourself first, and then you're hopefully so full that it doesn't matter what you're preparing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, maybe a pasta or whatever that you were sharing before. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did try like last year a bit of what he was eating, and I realized it wasn't exciting for me. It was just, it didn't make me feel good, and it to me it tasted like plastic. And it is a kind of pasta like used to love pasta, and I used to live on that. And now my body changed, and my body is craving something else. So
Do you ever get your blood test and check your levels with things? How often do you do that?
I did it quite often actually for the last few years because I was bleeding so much. So the only issues that I had last year was the uh, hemoglobin level, but
Iron.
yeah,
Yeah.
as long as now it's perfect. But yeah, I do think that blood test is important at least once a year.
Did you do anything? Did you eat a certain something that helped you bring your hemoglobin up?
It wasn't of what I was eating. It's
Okay.
because I had to make sure that my endometriosis
Oh, you're okay. So it
is
was some
under
other
control. Yeah. So
blood
as
loss.
long as I'm not losing like crazy amount of blood, it was okay.
Interesting. Wow. This has been so fun, Kiko. I
Oh
love
my God, I
it.
could go on forever, and it was really. Thank you so much. I mean, you always ask such a great questions, and yeah, and it's fantastic that Apple Day and Homestead was commenting, and they are in this beautiful raw journey. They already have fantastic tips for themselves as well, and we learn
Yes,
from themselves. Like I never think that I'm teaching. I'm always learning every day.
it is. I feel the same way. I mean, sometimes I share what I know or what I've experienced, and then someone says, I didn't think of that. And then of course they share and I'm like, oh, I didn't think of that either. Like seaweed asparagus, Kiko, you just taught me.
I just got a comment. I noticed someone commented, my friend actually here in Kyoto. She said, "What's your thoughts on salt and pepper?" Salt. I would like to just maybe Jennifer. Would you like to share your?
Yeah, so I consider myself SOFAs free and gluten free, so that's salt, oil, flour, alcohol, and sugar free. And pepper is fine for me. I usually like to use pepper with turmeric. There was a time when I had sensitivity to black pepper, and so my doctor, we did not use black pepper for a long time, but then I added it back in. I seem to be fine with it. The salt lately has been very interesting for me. I used to not have any salt, no added salt, just salt would come from like celery and the food, and my blood level showed I had high salt. So they were saying, if you're not eating salt, like maybe you need to drink more water, blah, blah, blah. But then I tried an experiment with Dr. Brooke Goldner's protocol. She's with Goodbye Lupus. And she says you need to have a small amount of salt because she has you drink so much water that she doesn't want you to get rid of the electrolytes. And so I did for a while try that when I was doing her thing. And I would just add, I think, a quarter of a teaspoon in this smoothie. But I try to stay away from added salt. I'm not saying if I have a store-bought something in the house that's like a salsa or something, if it has a little salt in it. Lately, I have been tasting it here or there, but I try really hard not to because I know we need salt, like we need sodium, but as long as your levels are good, you have to decide what works for you. Like sometimes I feel like the sodium gives me swelling. So like the next day I might wake up, oh my gosh, I can't, close my hand, or, or something else. But if you are not eating the standard American diet, that will significantly, and you're not eating vegan junk food, that will significantly cut down your sodium. And you check your blood. And as long as you're okay in the right range, you're not having any problems, then, I think a little bit of salt here and there is okay. And I think that that's part of what we were talking about before, where we evolve, right? So in the beginning of my journey, I was strict as like a nail. I mean, I did not veer. There's something had salt in it. No way. That was the end of it for me. But, then I realized I'm not high sodium anymore. Sometimes I'm feeling like I'm having electrolyte issues. So my electrolytes are imbalanced. So maybe I do need a little bit here and there. But I don't generously use it, because I think there's so many other things we can season our food with, so many wonderful spices, and so I would rather do that.
That's beautiful. That's great. I thank you so much for sharing that. That's so interesting coming from you, because you have gone through that, very strict, no salt, absolutely no added salt. And you have gone through that journey. That's very interesting to hear. For me, I've also gone through that, like absolutely no salt. And it seemed to work for a certain period of time. But at some point, I've realized that my body was off balanced. So there were some signs that I was seeing that I was not that well balanced, and I started to include. And I think what we have to like packaged food. Like if I were to buy this in a container, right? Um, I we don't know what kind of salt they use. Most of the time, they use like a cheap salt that's not well balanced, right? So I make everything by myself. Like I buy whole food, and soy sauce I don't make it myself yet, but miso I make my own. So I know I have a control of what kind of salt that goes into it. And if you don't eat out, like if you once you eat out or eat by the packaged food, that's whole different story.
Whole
So
different story. Yeah.
yeah,
What kind of salt do you use?
I use the sea salt, and also sea salt from Japan, and also like pink salt from Himalayas.
Like
Yeah.
a Himalayan. Interesting. And so when I was adding it in with Dr. Brooke Goldner's protocol, I was using Celtic salt because it's a higher mineral content, and different than like what you were talking about, table salt and buying things. Yeah, you want to have, I think for me, I want to have the most control. So making it myself is the best. And like I said, I don't need it. I can just make the flavors beautiful. I don't miss it either. So when I make a homemade salsa or pico de gallo, and I've had neighbors and people over, and they said, "Oh, there's no salt in this." I said, "You're right. So here's some chips with salt, right? Or take some and put it in your bowl. Here's the salt you added, but no, mine is not going to have it." And they're like, "Okay, all right, no, this is fine." So
And it's great that if you don't miss it. Like for me, I think again, like everyone's different, and for me, I've always missed a salt. Like even if I try for a long period of time, my taste wise and also my body wise, my body needed it. But I don't add that much. When you do that whole food plant based with raw vegan, I don't need to add so much salt.
yeah. And when you're used to eating that way, oh my gosh, I never realized how celery tastes salty. You just don't realize it if you're not coating your mouth with things like table salt and oil and things like that. I was like, that was such a discovery. I was like, whoa, this is so salty in a weird way. Because growing up, I always heard, oh, celery is just all water. And what did I used to hear? Like, there's more calories in chewing it, than, which is not true, than it in itself. It offers so much great, wonderful stuff. I love my celery.
Yeah.
So,
even tomato. I'm sorry, we are going a bit over.
yeah, that's okay.
Tomatoes. When I make gazpacho, so I make gazpacho with tomato and the ring of watermelon, the white part of watermelon. Just that. I mean, I don't need to add anything, like not even lemon, just those two. For some reason, like tomato doesn't have sodium, but to me, it tastes salty. So yeah, when I do that gazpacho, I don't need to add, I don't add any salt. And some I might add like marinated onion and mushroom on top too. And
So if you take because I have a half a watermelon sitting here, you cut the green part, you use the white part. How much to how many tomatoes? Is it equal
so
portion?
it depends on how your tomato tastes, but usually maybe 6 to 4, like 6 tomato to 4, like portion wise, 60% of tomato, 40 to 30% of watermelon. But it really depends on how your watermelon. Sometimes that white part tastes kind of sweet as well.
And so do you chop it up or blend it up or bite-sized pieces?
I just put I just cut into small bite-sized pieces and put it in Vitamix and make it very, very smooth.
Oh, wow. Okay, everyone, if you're new to gazpacho made with this white part of the watermelon and tomato, you can be with me. We can try something new and see.
I'm sorry, I skipped this step. I cut them up and put them in the freezer. The white. I cut them. I eat the most delicious part just as it is, and then I leave that white part and then cut it and store it in a deep freezer. And on a hot day like this, it makes a beautiful smooth soup. And that's what that's what I serve in my cafe as well. And no one complained that there's no salt. They said it's like a perfect harmony.
There you go. There you go. Well, 21st Century Homestead said this was so great. And Apple a Day said thank you. Seeing you too was a wonderful surprise. Wonderful surprise to have all of you here as well. And Apple a Day said, Kiko, I love this salad dressing tip of homemade marinades. So yeah, you shared so much wonderful stuff.
This has been so wonderful. And we went over half an hour, but again, with Jennifer, I can go over, all day long on this.
It's fun. It's really fun. Kiko, thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. And I just want to say, don't forget to eat your greens. I always like to say, everybody, if you're not doing it already, you have got to give plants a chance. And thank you, Kiko.
Thank you, Jennifer,
Thanks,
for coming to
everyone.
my channel again. And thanks to everyone for joining. And I will think about another episode because I love having Jennifer and Todd in my channel.
Oh my gosh, that will be great. That will be great. We're getting lots of comments. Great talk from Plant Powered Peddler Janet, and 21st Century Homestead says, thank you for these beautiful lives. The community is so wonderful. Yes, yes. And Apple a Day says, bye-bye, everyone. And Todd says, thank you, Kiko. Thank you, everyone. Be healthy. Gosh, we can't ask for more, can we, Kiko? Yeah. We're so blessed. All of us, you watching, commenting, watching the replay, Kiko, we're so blessed. We know, and we have a place to turn when we're confused or we need help, right?
Yeah, thank you. And I can't wait for the next episode. Until then, have a great day, great evening, and see you soon.
See you soon.